Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Mad Meta Magic, where we try to make the magic meta mad. Now, today, I'll be playing Mixim's list that he requested on Patreon. Mixim, I apologize. I made a couple of edits to the list since you last saw it. I've been trying to fix up some of this deck. I did get some practice matches in before recording this video. So a couple of things that I'm going to preface this video with. I am not an Eggs player. I have played the deck in the past in multiple forms. Most of those were Krark Clan Ironworks list, which is obviously no longer modern legal. So a lot of the play pattern is very different. I don't think Eggs is in a particularly good spot in the metagame right now. So if the deck appears bad, it could be pilot skill, it could be specific metagame, it could be a lot of things. I'm really going to try and do this deck justice, which is why I made some deck edits, just for personal preference, really. So what is Eggs? For those of you that don't know, Eggs relies on playing and sacking a whole bunch of eggs, basically. You draw a whole bunch of cards, you play a bunch of Chromatic Sphere, Chromatic Star, Conjurer's Bauble, Golden Egg, Elsewhere Flask, that sort of thing. You draw a bunch of cards, you sack all of those permanents, you gain some sort of mana advantage, and then you Faith's Reward, get them all back, draw more of your deck, get a bunch more mana, and keep looping that until you get a high enough storm count that you can kill your opponent with Grapeshot. So for Mixim's benefit, I'm going to explain the changes that I made. First thing is, this deck was playing 4 Serum Visions, which I found was one of the worst cards in the deck, at least for me when I was playing it. So unless I was misunderstanding how I was supposed to use Serum Visions, I cut all 4 of them and I added 2 Grapeshot and 2 Elsewhere Flask. The single Grapeshot works. You can Conjurer's Bauble it back in the deck if you have a, if you have a storm count of like 9, you could Grapeshot your opponent, crack Conjurer's Bauble, put it back in your deck, and then bring to light, go get Grapeshot and kill your opponent. And that's still a valid game plan. That's still something you can do with this deck. But I like having multiple Grapeshots because sometimes I was not getting enough eggs on board to dig all the way to find my singleton or to find a bring to light, which was a problem. With multiple Grapeshots, you also have the advantage of occasionally you'll just have 4 mana floating, 2 of it will be red, storm count will be like 8 or 9, and then you'll just Grapeshot, kill your opponent. And that's a completely reasonable thing to have happen. Elsewhere Flask is a huge upgrade over Serum Visions, in my opinion. And the reason being is Sphere, Star, and Bauble, I think, are the best eggs in the deck. The problem with them is you want to save sacrificing them for your combo turn. So they don't provide you a card draw until you sacrifice them. Serum Visions gives you card draw immediately, but it does not advance your board state, which I think is really important in the current modern metagame-ish type deal. So Elsewhere Flask and Golden Egg have the advantage of putting eggs on your board and giving you the card draw immediately. So in my opinion, I like this better than Serum Visions because it gives you an additional egg. It sacks itself for free. It might, in that regard, actually be better than Golden Egg because it does sort of fix your mana. It changes all of your lands into the land type of your choice for until the end of turn. It does not filter floating mana, though, so the lines with it are a little bit different. But the fact that it can sack itself for free, you don't need floating mana to sack it, and it drawing a card immediately when it enters the battlefield, I think makes it an upgrade over Serum Visions. It is more expensive, of course, but I don't think the extra mana is a hit here to its usefulness. And then the other changes I made are out of the sideboard. So Mixim's sideboard list had a bunch of Anger of Gods, which earlier in the current metagame, post-Modern Horizons 2 release, definitely made a lot more sense to have Anger of the Gods and Pyroclasm effects because there was a lot more Ragavans and such running around, causing a lot more issues. The flavor of the metagame is getting a little bit slower, a little more control-oriented, so this deck might actually be worse than when Mixim wanted me to play it. I, of course, needed to get a lot of practice in, so I didn't get to play it right away. As evidenced by the fact that he asked me to do this on the 1st of the month, and it is now the 28th. And so the changes I made are around that consideration. I dropped Anger of the Gods, I dropped a couple of Nature's Claims, and I dropped the Pyrite Spellbomb. I know the Pyrite Spellbomb is technically a loop that you can do, and I'm not gonna lie, trying to do the Pyrite Spellbomb loop made me want to hang myself. It's not fun, it's not easy for me, and I don't have the kind of mind necessary to understand how I need to stack my deck, how I need to do the infinite loop. Because, like, what you can do is you can combo out your entire deck. You can leave a Pyrite Spellbomb on top. You can draw it with an egg, play it, sack it, loop it with Conjurer's Bauble, play it, sack it, loop it with Conjurer's Bauble, play it, sack it, loop it with Conjurer's Bauble, Faith's Reward, do it again. And I just never found myself in that situation in any of my tests. So for me, it was a wasted sideboard slot. For a more experienced Eggs player, that might be the way to go. It's not for me. So what I did, because we needed kind of a backup game plan if we run into excessive grave hate, that sort of a thing, I have Urza's Saga just because I have them. Generally, for me, this is a swap for Prismatic Vista. When it does come in, it's kind of interesting. Some of the lines you can do, looping this with Ghost Quarter on the turn that you combo off. It's, you know, something else you can do. People, if they don't see this in Game 1, probably will not tech against it in Game 2, so that's another consideration. I did drop a Leyline of Sanctity, 2 Nature's Claim, and the Pyrite Spellbomb to include those. And we have a Kaheera, the Orphanguard, because Control's playing Kaheera, and we sometimes lead on, like, Basic Island, we reveal Kaheera, so everybody goes, oh, it's Elementals, or oh, it's Control. And so, depending on how they keep, like, it actually changes their mulligans, and I think it changes their mulligans in our favor. So, I still kind of agree with that being the case. I don't know if it should be the 16th, or like the 15th sideboard slot. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know the exact distribution, because I've played, like I said, a lot of games with this to try and get accustomed to it. I'm still not very good with it. I'm trying to give that a lot of upfront preface, but I don't expect anybody's anticipating me to be good with this list. I think Miximcz just wants to see his deck played. So the other thing I want to point out, Miximcz, because I was doing this in testing, I didn't actually try this out. Zuran Orb, specifically because of the life gain it gives you, I think makes the whole Bolus's Citadel tech better. Because you gain a bunch of life that way, you don't necessarily have to weather the storm, and it's a 0-drop artifact, which also helps with Bolus of Citadel, so something maybe to consider if you're going to play Eggs. Alright, I think I've rambled enough. I'm probably going to have to take numerous breaks. In fact, this video may not even come out on time, depending on what happens. I may have to postpone it till Sunday. There may not be a Wednesday video. Who knows? I'll do a comment, because I've got something else that might come up on Wednesday, which is the day this is supposed to come out. Actually, no, I do have something coming up on Wednesday that may prevent me from uploading this video on time. So, you know, my pre-apology during recording is now becoming a post-apology for potentially when that happens, and the timeline's getting confusing. Let's get into the Modern League, and I'll see you guys there. Alright. I think this is a good opener. I'm going to keep it. We are on the draw, which is a bit unfortunate, but opponent leads on white mana into Aether Vial, which, depending on what they're playing, could be good or bad for us. I'm going to lead on Sphere, because I think the mana filtering artifacts are more important to get down than the Bauble. Right away, anyway. If we run into a Thalia, we're going to have a huge problem, because it's going to mean our mana situation has to get a lot higher for, like, the critical mass. Like, Reshape is no longer a ritual. We don't particularly care about Ghost Quarter unless it is a Leon and Arbiter situation. So let's go ahead and play Golden Egg. Draw a card. Okay, we get a Lotus Bloom. Let's go ahead and suspend that. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent vials in a 1-drop. It's probably a Giver. Yep, there it's a Giver of Runes. Okay, they untap. We really have to dodge Leon and Arbiter. And post-sideboarding, we have to dodge Kataki, which I don't know that a lot of people would be running, but it is possible, so I feel like I should name it. Kataki is popular when artifact decks are all the rage. And with Urza's Kitchen, or whatever you want to call that deck, existing, you know, there's the chance it exists. Opponent has Leon and Arbiter, so there's a really, really, really good possibility that we are just completely screwed. Because they'll Ghost Quarter us right away. We take out our blue mana. This makes Prismatic Vista very bad. We do not have a main deck way to kill Arbiter unless we Grapeshot, which, I'll be honest with you, not that high of a chance of that happening, unless we're already comboing to kill our opponent. We happen to top deck an island, which is very good. So, play a Sphere, play a Bauble, pass the turn. If this Lotus Bloom comes off suspend before our opponent plays a Thalia, we're probably okay. Okay. So they sack Horizon Canopy, they take up Vial to 2, and the other Vial they take up to 3. They draw a card for turn. Opponent goes to combat. They attack us for 3. They're deciding whether or not to attack with the Giver of Runes, and they ultimately decide not to. We take 2. Untap. Lotus Bloom ticks down to 1. We draw Chromatic Star. Opponent is going to Vial in a 3-drop, which is probably Flicker Wisp. They're going to try and... Oh, Elite Spellbinder. Okay. That's bad, because they can take Faith's Reward. It then costs 6 instead of 4, which is a pretty big deal. We may or may not actually get enough mana to make that worthwhile. They take Reshape. Now, I'm not 100% sure that was correct, because they already have Leyline of Arbiter taxing our ability to tutor, but play Prismatic Vista. Now, I could pay for Arbiter here, but I think I'm just going to play out Star. And this is risky because if they happen to top deck another Ghost Quarter, it could be a real big problem. Opponent untaps. I think they're probably going to keep their Aether Vials set on 2 and 3. Yep, okay. I'm going to close the Kaheera prompt. So Reshape is a 4-mana tutor, effectively, that gets us 3 mana. If this is Thalia, I think it's game. Oh my god. Alright. So now we need a Grapeshot to kill Thalia, which is another reason that I'm happy we're playing more than one now. You know, I haven't seen Death and Taxes in months. I've not run into anybody playing these creatures for months, so it's amazing to me that the one time I decide to play Eggs, we run into like all of the cards that hard counter Eggs, which is very demoralizing for me, I have to admit. Opponent I was gonna say, I kind of hope they do attack with Giver. Alright. I mean, that just means if we do happen to draw a Grapeshot, you know. So Lotus Bloom actually costs us a mana here. They're vialing in a 3-drop on their own turn. Flicker Wisp to reset Spellbinder. That's pretty good. If I could have picked a hand to counter the hand that I had, that's probably what I would have picked. Something very close to what my opponent is currently playing. Okay, so Lotus Bloom coming off suspend. I have to pay 1 to cast it. I think I need to top deck a Faith's Reward or a Grapeshot. Okay. Opponent has 11 damage on board, and we're going to have to crack this Prismatic Vista. So I think we got to go for it here. Sack an egg. Sack an egg. There's a Plains. Sack an egg. Bring to Light. Bring to Light is technically a Faith's Reward, but it's way, way worse here because of the fact that it has to search our deck. Like, if this were Open the Vaults right now, it would technically be better, although it would be worse in almost every other circumstance. I have 1 draw left currently with Conjurer's Bauble. I have only 5 mana right now, so I cannot cast Faith's Reward, because I have to pay for Arbiter or kill Arbiter before I can even search my deck. Alright, crack Bauble. Ghost Quarter. Well, I mean, I could Ghost Quarter my opponent's only land, but that doesn't really help me. So I can't play... I actually can't play Faith's Reward because I completely forgot about Thalia. So I can play a Plains. I can play a Chromatic Sphere for 2. I can crack Bloom for blue. Sack for red. And now I have Grapeshot on 2. So I get 3 points of damage from casting Grapeshot. The problem is I've used all of my eggs to get here. So even if I wipe the board, or kill everything of any real value, we have to completely rebuild from scratch. I don't know if that's going to be possible. So if I Grapeshot, I have to use all of my mana. I can leave the golden egg on board, and I can sack it for the actual combo turn. And I can kill Thalia, Flicker Wisp, and Elite Spellbinder, or I can kill Leyline of Arbiter, Thalia. And I think I have to kill Leyline of Arbiter, Thalia. Okay. And this only works because my opponent attacked with Giver of Runes, by the way. So we kill Thalia, and then 2 hits to Leyline of Arbiter. Then we pass. And if my opponent has a duplicate of either of those cards, we're in huge trouble. I had to sack a Bloom, too. Okay, they leave Vial on 2 and 3. I should have suspended the Lotus Bloom in my hand, too. I think. Because I'm never gonna suspend this and actually get it down on time, and there's nothing else it can do from my hand, I don't think. So maybe it doesn't matter, because I'm not going to survive 3 turns unless I draw another Grapeshot. And even if I do, it doesn't really work either because of Giver of Runes. Opponent puts in another Flicker Wisp, copying Elite Spellbinder. So they take Bring to Light. Okay, we draw Bring to Light. So, play out Ghost Quarter. Bring to Light can get Faith's Reward. I have 5 mana exactly right now. I have no way to sack my other lands, so if I go get Faith's Reward, that doesn't do anything. Well, he gets back Prismatic Vista and Ghost Quarter, and the land I Ghost Quarter, so let me think about this. If I sack Golden Egg, and I Ghost Quarter Plains, and I crack Prismatic Vista, I get back Prismatic Vista, Ghost Quarter, Plains, Egg, and my remaining lands remain tapped. So I have like 3 mana and a card draw. I think, let me look at my deck list really quick. So I could get Grapeshot and I could kill 2 things, except I can't because Giver of Runes. Okay, so get a Mountain. Ghost Quarter, our Mountain. Get an Island. Float blue. Sack Egg for blue. Bring to Light. Get Faith's Reward. Yeah. Okay. That's unfortunate. Like, we had it until our opponent just had everything that countered what we were going for. I think this is, like, Saga Pithing Needle territory, potentially. Or maybe Nature's Claim. It's probably Nature's Claim territory. Silence is less important in this matchup, because our opponent doesn't tend to play instant speed interaction or counters unless it's Vial, in which point, you know, we can probably claim the Vial or Pithing Needle Vial or do something important that way. I'm gonna bring in 2 Saga over 2 Vista. I don't want to go all the way onto the Saga plan, but Saga could get us something like Zuran Orb, which makes something like Faith's Reward way more powerful. I would like to play first. Let's reveal Kaheera. Alright, yeah, this is a keep. Alright, so lead on Island, play Bauble, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Ganjo Castle into a Giver. We draw a Chromatic Star, so play Ghost Quarter, play Egg, draw a card. We get a Grapeshot, pass the turn. So we can Grapeshot X2 next turn if we need to. I would like to avoid doing so, unless necessary. Kataki, of course. Oh, man. So my opponent's playing, like, an outdated list. I don't know if it's outdated, but it's very, like, retro. It's just utterly disgusting. We get another Grapeshot. Play a Plains. Play Chromatic Star. So I'm going to try and Faith's Reward next turn, and we're going to try and use Kataki as basically an excuse. Or I have to do so very soon, anyway. Okay, opponent hits us for 2. So they can leave up Ganjo Castle and Giver of Runes to protect Kataki. Okay, second Giver. So we basically can't kill anything on their board ever. So we are going to... We need to draw a land. We're going to sack this Star, because that draws us a card for free, which is a Ghost Quarter, which is really, really good. We're going to sack the Egg without paying anything, because we don't need to filter mana. We're going to crack Conjurer's Bauble, not targeting anything. Get a third Grapeshot. Okay, double Faith's Reward might actually get us there, with triple Grapeshot in hand. We draw an Island. So play Ghost Quarter. Float mana, hit the Plains. Get our Mountain, float red. Hit our Mountain. Get an Island, float mana, Faith's Reward. Get all that back. It's very important that it was 4 lands we got into the grave. If we could draw a Zuran Orb, I think that's what we actually need here. So, float mana, Ghost Quarter. Because we want to thin the lands out of our deck first, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, hang on. Technically, I want to bauble this Faith's Reward back into the deck, because I'm going to shuffle with this other Ghost Quarter. We drew a Faith's Reward. So that's actually enormously huge. We Ghost Quarter our plains. Get an island. Float blue. Cycle for blue. Draw a card. Cycle for blue. Faith's Reward. Get back everything we put into the grave. Okay. Opponent gives up. I think we could have gotten there. But I think it involved drawing a Reshape. Not 100%. The cool thing is we beat Kataki. The sad thing is opponent is playing Kataki. I'm not 100% on whether or not that was a win or not. I know we were going to get up to like storm count of 4, and we had 2 Grapeshots. So it would have been 5 and 6 damage. So we either could have threatened to kill the whole board, or potentially... Okay, we have a Grapeshot, we have a Ghost Quarter, and we have a Zuran Orb. We actually have 2 Zuran Orbs and a Nature's Claim. I think I'm going to keep this. It's a little bit of a strange hand. We do have to draw a lot of things, but we're going to try it, because I really don't know how many 6s we have that are better than this. And this comes from inexperience playing eggs. Even though, yeah, I got a lot of test games in, I'm still not where I need to be with a deck like this. Okay, opponent mulligan to 4, which is a good sign. We draw an Elsewhere Flask. Elsewhere Flask is actually pretty big. So we're going to play out a Zuran Orb, play a Forest, and pass the turn. Opponent plays a Plains, plays a Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. If they get the 7-mana artifact Kaldra, it is Kaldra, okay. Oh, shoot. We can't Grapeshot to kill Stoneforge because of Giver. We could play Zuran Orb to get an extra storm count, but because this is indestructible, that's a real problem. So, if this was Batterskull, we could just Nature's Claim it, and that would be fine. Because they can't give Batterskull protection. They can only give the token that's attached to it protection. But because Kaldra Complete for some reason has indestructible... Okay, so we're going to play an island. We'll play out the Elsewhere Flask. The good news is Zuran Orb makes this Faith's Reward way better. Like, infinitely better than it would otherwise be. We get a Saga, which, I mean, it's not great. And I think it's only not great because I don't think it's going to... If we could get to its 3rd chapter, it would be really strong because we could get it back. We could go get, like, an egg, get it back from the grave, Ghost Quarter it, you know, that sort of thing. But, like, that's not where we are right now. And that's game. I actually cannot beat Archon. So I guess taking Anger the Gods out of the sideboard was a mistake, but there was no way to know. It definitely would have helped here. I definitely would have brought it in here, but the only way I have to kill this card is a Grapeshot with multiple spellcasts, and I can't actually do that. So, and I can't even race. I can't combo with this card on the board. So, I think in the broader metagame, I would not run into that deck ever. Like I said, I have not seen it for months, and I've been playing a lot of Modern, a lot more than I was. So I don't want to call my deck construction a mistake, and I'm not going to say that my deck construction is better than Miximcz, because Miximcz plays this deck a lot more than I do at all. I just tried to tune it for the current metagame, and I got punished for it, because I ran up against something non-meta in round 1. So I will see you guys in round 2. Alright, round 2. No lands, and I think we got a mulligan. I will keep this, though. This is actually quite good, I think. With us being on the play and our opponent being unknown in the loser's bracket, I'm going to put back Silence. Hopefully I don't get punished for that. I think we need the lands. So lead on an island, pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays an Urborg and an Inquisition. That's bad news for us. Opponent is either playing Coffers or they are playing 8-Rack, and neither of which we really have a good matchup for. Let's play Golden Egg. If I'm getting surgical here, I was going to say it's probably 8-Rack. We draw Faith's Reward, pass the turn. It's 8-Rack. Oh my god. Mixim. Mixim. Oh, I couldn't have picked worse matchups if I tried. Oh my god. At least Urborg is kind enough to, like, let me... Oh god. Spend Lotus Bloom, pass the turn. Mixim, how? I'm so sorry. I wanna show off some of the cooler, like, lines with your deck, and the last test match I played right before I did this league, and I played against the Arclight Phoenix deck, and the Arclight Phoenix deck actually was an easy win. I put Surgicals in the side, and like I just got to combo off both games, and I was doing cool things like, you know, Bring to Lighting for friggin' oh my god. Oh, he chose Elsewhere Flask. Okay, that sucks, but it's not... I thought he was gonna name Prismatic Vista, and then I was gonna be like, oh no. Okay, we draw Ghost Quarter, play Ghost Quarter, and I guess we put Kaheera in our hand, because like I don't know what else I'm doing here. I can't cast her. I guess I technically can if I Ghost Quarter myself, and filter with the egg, but I really don't want to do that. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm gonna get 8 racked. I think Ghost Quarter is more important than Prismatic Vista. So I can either reshape right now and go get... No. Okay. We have to Ghost Quarter. So we have to stop our opponent from going and getting the rack. Like, if we lose this other reshape, it's sad, but, you know, there's not a lot else I could do right now. Wrench Mind. Okay. We get a Lotus Bloom. Play an island to pass the turn. I mean, if we get enough eggs on board and then just top deck into a Faith's Reward, we'll be fine, but we're right now in the mode that we have to play everything we draw. And I don't think Game 1 is going to be the difficult game against 8-rack. I think Game 2 and Game 3 become impossible, because our opponent's going to bring in Surgical Extraction, they're going to have Leyline of the Void, they're going to have a bunch of stuff that's just going to interact with our combo, and so we're gonna have to go on the Urza Saga plan, which is worse because of Surgical Extraction and because of Smallpox. I feel like I've been transported back like 4 years into Modern. Like, I can't believe that the first 2 decks I play against are these 2 decks. Alright? I mean, if we can store up a bunch of draws, then, like, maybe we can get somewhere. But Lily's also gonna ult. Opponent ditches an Urborg. We draw a Bauble. Play Bauble. Pass the turn. They play a land. They uptick to 6. So we draw Bring to Light, and we technically can Bring to Light. Awesome. Okay. So, sack this for green. Let's go white. Crack this to draw a card. Red. Oh my gosh. One moment. Okay. So let's Bring to Light. And get Faith's Reward. Cast Faith's Reward. Get back everything. Sack Bauble. Putting back Faith's Reward. We draw Reshape. So, sack Lotus Bloom for blue. Reshape Elsewhere Flask. Get Lotus Bloom. Sack Sphere for blue. Gal. So I can play out the rest of the eggs, and then if they want to like alt Lily on me, go ahead. Because like it wouldn't be that good. I guess that's what I do here. I don't want to give up the Lotus Bloom. So I can either sack the Lotus Bloom and get a Golden Egg and a Chromatic Star, or I can just pass. I think I've got to pass. Okay, opponent plays a Mishra's Factory. Okay, they uptick Lily, so we discard Lotus Bloom. Okay, we draw Grapeshot. I could Grapeshot Liliana out of ultimate range. Play Golden Egg. Draw another Golden Egg. Pass the turn. They Ravens Crime us. So we discard Star. They ult Lily. Basically keep whatever pile Lotus Bloom's in. Okay, that's actually an easy one. So we sack the Star pile. We draw a second Grapeshot. We get a Chromatic Sphere. Do we kill Lily here? I think we do. Sack for red, play out the star, Grapeshot Lily, ping our opponent. But now, of course, we have no mana. And a lot of important stuff's in the grave. Get rid of our other Grapeshot. Play Zuran Orb. Pass the turn. We basically just need to start top-decking lands before our opponent starts top-decking racks. Okay? We lose Golden Egg. They hit us for 2, we go to 14. We draw Faith's Reward, which we're not going to get to keep. Opponent hits us for 2. So the fact they're holding a card in hand tells me that what they're holding is actually Smallpox. Yeah, we still have to play out the land. So if they cast Smallpox, we just sack planes to Zuran Orb. Hive of the Eye Tyrant. Okay. I guess they could have kept the Hive of the Eye Tyrant just to have a faster clock. They hit us for 2 and take us to 10. We draw a Grapeshot. Pass the turn. And put Grapeshot in the grave. So our only way to win involves Conjurer's Bauble. Oh, and they can exile a card from the graveyard whenever they attack now. Exile Lotus Bloom, okay. And unfortunately, we no longer have enough time to win. Yeah. That's pretty sad. Alright, we're bringing in Leyline of Sanctity because it is absolutely necessary for us to win. And we're bringing in Urza's Saga because it is absolutely necessary for us to win. I'm bringing in a Pithing Needle over a Zuran Orb because they're probably going to Pithing Needle or Zuran Orb. What do I cut? I think a Golden Egg, maybe a Bring to Light, because it's going to be very difficult for us to, I think, get to Bring to Light. I might want Nature's Claim here. In fact, I think I absolutely do need Nature's Claim, and we're going to cut Silence. We're going to try it like this. Hopefully it's enough. I would like to play first. Reveal Kaheera. Saga Star Bloom. Ghost Quarter. I think we got to go for Leyline. Double Bloom. Saga. Yeah, we got to keep... We actually have to mulligan to Leyline, I think. Okay, we'll keep 4 of these. We got to put back 3 cards, so that's Sphere... Sphere, and Bauble. Play Leyline. Suspend Bloom, Suspend Bloom. Pass the turn. The old double Lotus Bloom, no land hand. Take that, Smallpox.deck. Watch them just feed the swarm me and, you know, everything is bad. Play Saga. Pass the turn. Actually, like, right now, we're setting up to have a pretty decent Faith's Reward. Never mind. So we lose Faith's Reward, and we lose Urza's Saga. Opponent ditches a Raven's Crime. Blooms tick down to 1, we draw a Golden Egg. Pass the turn. Honestly, when we just start top-decking lands, we might be okay. Because I don't think my opponent has an answer to Lotus Bloom. They can't Pithing Needle it because it's a mana ability. They basically need Liliana... of the Veil. Pass the turn. To have the non-targeted discard, and of course they do. So I think we ditch Golden Egg here. So the problem is, without any lands, we are effectively... we can't top deck our way out of this. This is the same problem that I used to have in Ad Nauseam when I would play against 8-rack. In that I would get to where I would need more cards than I had in hand to win, and Liliana would just prevent me from getting more cards in my hand at one time. So we get rid of Star. Opponent ditches a Funeral Charm. Okay, we draw Forest. Pass the turn. This gives us the out of top-decking Pithing Needle, which I'm pretty sure I brought in. I brought in 1. I don't know why I didn't bring in the other one. Play Sphere. Pass the turn. Let's see, how could we get out of this? They are ticking up to 7. So we either need to draw a Pithing Needle, or if we have like the absolutely craziest Faith's Reward sequence ever seen, that might be enough. But I mean, that's really our 2 options right now. We get a Bauble. Put Faith's Reward back in the deck. Okay. Opponent plays a land. We'll ditch Nature's Claim. Opponent ditches another Lily. We draw Bring to Light. Bring to Light cannot get artifacts. It can only get creatures, instants, or sorceries. So, like, I can go get Faith's Reward. Is it worth it? I actually don't think I'm going to get another better time. So then we Bring to Light, Floating Blue, Faith's Reward. We can crack this for blue. Reshape X1, sacking Chromatic Star to draw a card, which is Elsewhere Flask. We can go get Pithing Needle, put it on Leyline of the Veil. And unfortunately, can't play Elsewhere Flask. So pass the turn. Okay. We untap, draw another Reshape, pass the turn. I was going to say, really the only thing that affects us here is Smallpox. Play out the Star. Okay, we get a Saga. So play Saga. Play Elsewhere Flask. Draw an island. Pass the turn. We might actually be able to get out of this. That would be something. So play an island. Suspend Lotus Bloom. Pass the turn. I'm going to have to restart in between game 2 and 3 here. I'm going to play Shrieking Affliction. Make a token. Untap. Sack Star for green. Get a Bring to Light. Make a token. So we don't lose life because of the intervening if clause. We go and get Conjurer's Bauble, I think. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 6. And now we gotta try and do a beatdown. Like, the combo technically isn't off the table, it's just unlikely. So that's how they're getting around, what's it called? Leyline of Sanctity. Opponent actually scoops. Alright. So, okay, I gotta restart the client. Okay, so I dropped a Grapeshot for the other Pithing Needle. We're gonna run both. Oh wait, whoops. I did not bring in Leyline of Sanctity like I was supposed to. Sorry, when you restart the client, you have to basically redo your sideboarding for some weird reason, because state isn't preserved from client to server for some awful reason. This hand is almost good, but unfortunately we really do need to mulligan to Leyline. Perfect. So we will keep this. We will put back the plains. Opponent also keeps 6, so lead on Leyline. Opponent plays Leyline of the Void. That's fine. We just have to basically prepare for Pithing Needle on Urza's Saga, or get a Nature's Claim ready. One of the two. So play Ghost Quarter, play Golden Egg. Get another Ghost Quarter, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Swamp, Smallpox, discard Bring to Light, sack Ghost Quarter, because Ghost Quarter right now is just a colorless land. Lotus Bloom ticking down. We get a Faith's Reward, which is effectively useless right now, pass the turn. Opponent's got another Urborg, they Smallpox again. We lose Ghost Quarter. Untap, Lotus Bloom coming off Suspend. We get a Nature's Claim. Okay, Nature's Claim is good. Pass the turn. They play Saga. We are going to kill Saga before they can use it for mana. Okay, we get our own Saga, which is huge. Play it. Play out Star. Pass the turn. We just have to dodge Pithing Needle for like 2 turns. And I guess Leyline of the Veil after that. Actually, I should not auto-use that. Play Pithing Needle. Game Leyline of the Veil. Pass the turn. And I will be sacking Lotus Bloom to draw a card / activate Saga. One plays a Marsh Flats. Cracks Marsh Flats. Gets a Swamp. Oh, actually, I don't want to draw a card here. I just want to activate Saga, I think. Yeah. I don't want to lose the additional toughness. We're only going to get one creature out of this because we don't have enough mana to activate Saga again. I could Pithing Needle Saga, but that could come back to bite me. So let's go get a Chromatic Star and play Conjurer's Bauble. Start the Pain Train. The Pain Train rolling. Take him to 15. Opponent plays Polluted Delta. Draw Zuran Orb. Play Zuran Orb. Go to combat. Hit them to 8. Okay, if we top deck an artifact that we can play, they lose. I specified that we could play. Hit them to 1. They're dead to they're dead to Grapeshot. No storm count. Oh my god, we beat 8-Rack. Oh, the Saga backup plan. How's that Leyline of the Void taste? Oh man. Mixim, I don't know if that counts for you, but man, that's what I put it in the deck for, because 8-Rack's like an impossible matchup otherwise. So, didn't think we were going to run into 8-Rack, because 8-Rack has once again been non-existent for how many months? Same with, you know, friggin' Death and Taxes, but Kano luck. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, welcome back to round 3, everybody. We are against a Lurrus deck of some kind. I'm going to risk keeping this, I think. We do need to draw a land. And of course, this is Ragavan.deck. And we drew a land, which is good. So, lead on the island, play the star, play a Zuran Orb, and suspend a Lotus Bloom, pass the turn. I would not mind drawing an early Grapeshot to take out Ragavan. The mana advantage may otherwise prove to be too much. I would be really surprised if they kept a one-lander off of Ragavan. They exile an island off the top of our deck. Okay, they did not keep a one-lander. They crack Wooded Foothills for a Temple Garden, so this is looking like the Lurrus Domain Zoo with good old Tarmogoyf. They sack their treasure for white. So Ragavan is another reason why you should run multiple Grapeshots, because occasionally, if you're playing a deck like this that relies on a single card in the entire deck, I can all but guarantee your opponent will hit it off of Ragavan roughly 99.9% of the time. So play a Plains, play an Elsewhere Flask, draw a Reshape. Reshape's really good here. Pass the turn. If we can get a couple more eggs onto the battlefield, then, you know, that'll be the way to go. Prismatic Ending, very bad for us. Another reason why I think the eggs deck has gotten weaker, just because the removal of the modern format has been upgraded so many times. Okay, that really sucks, because that makes our face reward way worse. Double Prismatic Ending. Okay, opponent hits us for 4. Let's see what they exile. Exile Silence. Thankfully they can't play it on our turn, because otherwise we could be in huge trouble. We get a Chromatic Star, so play an island, play a star, play a Bauble, pass the turn. We are trying to dodge a Thoughtseize, basically. So it's probably a Bolt. It is, in fact, a Bolt, which means we are getting hit for 5. At a minimum, potentially, we might be dead if my opponent has a Tribal Flames and can get the 5th basic land type, which it looks like they will be able to do. Like, if the last 2 cards in their hand are Bolt Tribal Flames, we're actually dead. Or like Haste Creature Tribal Flames. Opponent hits us for 5. Might of Alara. Okay. Yeah, just 1 mana 5 damage. That's pretty good. And they play a Scourge of the Skyclaves. So, the good news is we've reached the combo turn. The bad news is we lost so many resources along the way, but it is not unwinnable. So the question is, do I want to play this mountain, or do I want to try and get a Ghost Quarter? I think I need to try and get a Ghost Quarter, so we are going to reshape. Oh, actually, I am going to reshape for 0, sack Chromatic Star. Okay, we drew Ghost Quarter. It's not necessary because we can just get Zuran Orb Play Mountain. Sack this, we'll just say Island. Sack Conjurer's Bauble. Draw a card. Sack Lotus Bloom for green. Sack all our lands. Whoa! What? Didn't I tap a plains for white? Oh! I thought I had a... Mixim, I don't know if you were playing these basics. I don't think you were, because I think you sent these to me before Midnight Hunt came out, but I didn't even think about this. But apparently... Oh, I would not have been playing these basics. I didn't even think about it, but apparently I did not have a plains untapped. I thought I had a plains untapped. And I could have avoided that by cracking Lotus Bloom for white. We should have won right there. But unfortunately... Oh, I'm taking a break after this, because that is beyond tilting. I would not have been playing these because they're really easy to confuse. That should have been a game win. Okay, so versus Domain Zoo, what are we doing? I don't mind not having Anger here because all of their threats are going to be bigger than 3/3, except for Ragavan. I guess we bring in Leyline, but that's not going to help a whole ton. I think it's just better than Silence. Let me look up their deck list really quick. I am so tilted by that. I have nobody to blame but myself, which is what makes it worse. And I know that's like, haha, Kano punt, but like, that made me feel physically ill. Like, I don't ever want to play this game ever again right now. That's literally how visceral that feeling is. And it's all because of these stupid basic lands that look identical. And I swear I tapped for white. And I didn't, because I got in a hurry. Okay, so opponent's not playing a list that is like a meta list or anything like that. I'm not going to play Saga unless I make it to Game 3. If I had won Game 1, maybe. Because my opponent would have seen enough of my deck to... And maybe I should be bringing in Nature's Claim anyway. I'm not going to. Hopefully I don't regret it, but I'm not going to play Saga until I'm confident my opponent's not going to bring in Alpine Moon for Saga. So, oh, I can't believe I did that. I guess I just had 2 islands untapped. I'm not even going to go back and review the footage. I do not want to experience that moment again. And that's something that's like... So, if you're playing this deck in paper, there is a lot of shortcuts and things you can do in paper that will prevent mistaps like that through the mode of interface, right? So there are some advantages to playing eggs in paper, and there are some pretty major disadvantages as well. I think this hand is fine. We'll keep. But, like, I've never, ever been so punished for a mistap. And I am never, ever playing with these lands ever again. In paper or on Moto. Period. I mean, I have to if I'm going to do Innistrad Midnight Hunt drafts, but I'm never playing with them. Which is sad, because I think they look awesome. Not even in coffers. Not even in a monocolored deck. And the reason that I cracked the Lotus Bloom for green was because post Faith's Reward, we were going to like need green mana because we didn't have green mana on board, and we weren't going to be able to filter a lot of mana that easily. So like, the idea was to float green mana, have green mana floating to cast the Bring to Light next. I have not had a Magic moment like that get under my skin in so long. Even when I was super stressed out, even when I would get into a tilting situation, it's like, oh, you know, whatever, not a big deal. Here, it's just like, oh my, I wanted to tilt this table. Just flip up my computer. Screw it, I need a reason to buy a new one. Just like smash my monitors and camera. I don't, like, I've never had such a visceral gut reaction to Magic in my life. That is a completely new sensation for me. And it's like not even important, right? Because this is just a random Moto League that I'm trying to do for Mixim's benefit. But I think that's what made it worse. So like, when I do specific deck requests, especially for Patreon submissions, I took a good chunk of money from someone to play a list of their choice and try and highlight its strengths, try and pull off its cool combos, and in a lot of situations, I can do that. If the deck is like very clearly supposed to be a super jank deck, if we combo even once, fantastic. That's the goal of the league. When it's a deck like this, that's like more mechanically sound than like a super out there crazy combo. Like, we're not trying to surgically extract Shadowborn Apostles out of our deck so we can Shell Dock Isle Emrakul into play, right? Like, if somebody gives me a deck like that, I think the implicit understanding is, hey, we're probably going to go 0-5 and maybe win a game across 10 games. Like, and that's the goal. But, like, when it's something like this, and it's just a mechanical issue that I'm unable to deliver on, after taking somebody's money to try and deliver that experience, and I punt that hard, I feel bad. It's like, Mixim, I just want to give you a refund. I'm sorry. Like, I'll still I'll upload this video. But, like, for me to do something like that, I think letting a person down is what actually elevated that from, like, all right, yeah, whatever, Kano's dumb, to, oh my god, I want to destroy my computer. Like, which is an interesting psychological thing for me. Something to think about anyway. So, after this match, I'm going to take a good long breather, and then I'll come back for round 4 and 5, because I am not going to be able to play optimally until I get to that point. So, opponent Prismatic ending Zuran Orb. That sucks, but, you know, what can you do? It would... Oh, they have Chalice. Well, Nature's Claim's not going to do a lot, because they're going to put Chalice on 1. They're not going to put it on 0 if they've got it. And if they put Chalice on 1, Nature's Claim's our only answer to it, and we would basically just lose. Opponent hits us for 4. I mean, if we get enough stuff into the grave in a single turn from the board, theoretically we could face reward our way through a Chalice, but, like, it makes it so much harder to combo off. Okay, we're back to the combo turn. I gotta try really hard to not screw this up. So, play Sphere. We are going to sack Elsewhere Flask, name Island. Sack for white. Okay, we draw an island, which is excellent. I'm going to continue drawing cards until I'm out of eggs here, because there's a really... Like, if we get a Ghost Quarter, it is technically better. Okay. Okay, that makes life way better. Opponent says BRB. That's fine. Okay, there's no reason to play out this island yet. So, sack Lotus Bloom for white, Faith's Reward. Get everything back, draw a card. We get a Conjurer's Bauble. So we can double Grapeshot. The question is, how do we best use our mana here? We don't have a second Faith's Reward, so we have to reshape for a Lotus Bloom, which means we're playing this island. Sack Lotus Bloom for triple blue. Reshape X0, sack Star, draw card, get Lotus Bloom. So I currently have 5 mana, so I can play one more spell. Sack Sphere for red, sack Sphere for red, get a Ghost Quarter. So I think we play out Star first. Sack Bloom for triple red. Sack Star for blue, because if we get a reshape... Oh, thank God. Okay. Reshape, X0, sack Flask, get Bloom, float red, Bauble, Grapeshot. And this is why I wanted multiple Grapeshots in the deck, by the way, Mixim. Is exactly for a situation like this when we end up with multiple of them and need the storm count to win. That, like, when you have multiple Grapeshots in the deck, it greatly reduces the amount of mana you need to win the game. It does make the combo slightly more fizzly, but I don't think the reduction in combo potential is any worse off than how the deck normally is. Really, I think the percentages you lose from maybe top decking into a Grapeshot early are counteracted by the multiple Grapeshots to win the game situation. And winning that game was very cathartic after how game 1 went. We should have won this match. So if I end up losing it, I'm sorry. But okay, I'm going to restart the client and we'll go to game 3. Okay, so if our opponent plays Chalice on 0, then Nature's Claim is fine. But if they play it on 1, we're probably just screwed. So I am going to bring in Urza's Saga, because they've still not seen it. I'm going to drop the Prismatic Vistas, because I think Prismatic Vista is still technically worse than Ghost Quarter. Because Ghost Quarter, after the final Faith's Reward, gives you 1 more mana than Prismatic Vista does. Like, they're both good, but I'm going to cut 1 Zuran Orb. I think the card is great, but with Saga, it helps fetch it out a little bit faster. And I'm going to cut, I guess, 1 Flask, and we'll try it like this. We are on the draw, which is significantly worse. I may not need Leyline. They may not actually be playing Thoughtseize, but I can't keep this. This might work. So we put back Bring to Light, unfortunately. Gonna play as Bloodstained Mire. I mean, if it's Ragavan, maybe we can Grapeshot Ragavan, or if it's Dragon's Rage Channeler. They fetch up Overgrown Tomb first into a Wild Nicottle. Interesting. Play a Mountain, play a Star. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an Arid Mesa. Cracks Arid Mesa. I mean, if they just get really aggressive with their life total, maybe we just get to a low Grapeshot and kill them. Tarmogoyf, okay. Opponent hits us for 3. We draw a Leyline of Sanctity. In case of emergency, I could Nature's Claim my own Chromatic Star. Not sure that would actually be good, but I guess you never know. Play Saga, play Star, pass the turn. Opponent shocks a Steam Vents and goes to 12. Plays a Dragon's Rage Channeler. Hits us for 4. I don't know if my opponent could hit Delirium in response to a Grapeshot on that Dragon's Rage Channeler, but I can tell you that Grapeshot... double Leyline is one hell of an awful hand. But Grapeshot being a sorcery in the grave would make Goyf too big for Grapeshot to kill it. I think we've got to make tokens with the Saga. And we kind of need to avoid putting Chromatic Star in the grave for as long as we can with Goyf on the board. At least until our opponent puts an artifact in the grave. Opponent bolts our face. So 3 out of 4 for Delirium. Maybe I was supposed to Grapeshot. I do have the option of trading, which I think I have to take here. Because otherwise we die to a Lightning Bolt. If they have like an Atarka's command, this is just a complete blowout. We go to 6. They play another Dragon's Rage Channeler. Play a land. Okay, so this might be a board wipe Grapeshot. Question is, am I going to Nature's Claim my own Chromatic Star to go up to 10 and then like Grapeshot both Dragon's Rage Channelers? Or am I going to make a token? Because those are like mutually exclusive lines. And if I put a artifact in the grave, which I will do, and I have to put an enchantment in the grave, Goyf is going to be a 5/6. So I'm dead in 2 turns anyway. I cannot get Lotus Bloom, so there's no like crazy mana shenanigans or anything like that I can do. I basically have to get Zuran Orb, which is fine, I guess. Can we draw Bring to Light? Don't think that's helpful. Yeah, let's go get Zuran Orb. Draw card. Lotus Bloom is not really what I wanted to see. Nature's Claim my Chromatic Star, so we get a cast here, which gains us life. It draws us another card, which is a land, which is good because it means we will get a token. But we're in a Grapeshot X2 basically. Try and kill these guys. Hope their last card's not an instant. If it is, we're just dead. Oh my god, it worked. I mean, that was us giving up a ton of damage, but suspend this Lotus Bloom because it won't do any good in hand. Saga is going to go get, I think, another Chromatic Star, unfortunately. Like, nothing crazy. Opponent cracks Bloodstained Mire. We can make a chump blocker. We're basically going to need a really good, like, series of eggs draws into, like, a reshape and somehow Bring to Light for victory. Or, like, hope that our opponent goes crazy on, like, fetching and shocking and tries to set up for I don't know, a Death Shadow into like another small Grapeshot for us to win. We should have won this match already, so like we shouldn't have even gotten to this game, but here we are. So Lotus Bloom ticking down. We draw a Bauble. Make a token. Fetch up Star. Pass the turn. I could Armageddon myself to survive a hit from Goyf. So we chump. They have a second Goyf. We untap. Lotus Bloom ticks down to 1. Draw Bring to Light. Attack Star for blue. Play Golden Egg. There's the Reshape. Wouldn't have got us anywhere though, because we had to sack Zuran Orb, and we'd only be sitting at 3 mana. That might allow me to. That would allow me to Conjurer's Bauble, but like, I would have a Plains and then 2 mana floating, and that's not enough to do anything. So, unfortunately, we lost. We absolutely should have won that match because the first match combo, you know, we'd have had it if I'd actually tapped correctly. I'm so sorry that that happened, and I'm also sorry that I got mad about it. Like, I shouldn't get that way over Magic. In fact, I think that's the first time it's ever happened, period. And I've played Magic for a decade, and I think that's the first time I've ever been actually legitimately angry. And I think it was less about the game and more about the fact that I screwed up possibly the entertainment for someone who paid me. I honestly think that's what actually upset me. So I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a walk, and I'll come back for round 4. All right, we're back for round 4. I'm feeling a lot better. Let's do this. I also figured out what happened. I did not go back and review the footage, but I know what must have occurred. I think I actually did have an untapped Plains. I'm gonna try keeping this as a 1-lander. It's a bit risky, but we have a bunch of redraws, and we have a Chromatic Star plus a Reshape. So I'm almost positive in that sequence of events I sacked Elsewhere Flask and a named island. And normally when that happens, when you have full art lands, it adds the border to them and it adds the type line. But because of these lands having the type line at the bottom of the card, and I think Moto's new interface trying to improve visual quality, because personally I hate it when they do that. Unlike any other full art land, it looks really, really ugly. Except it is necessary to let you know that the lands have changed. And usually when mana abilities get added, they get added. I don't know if they get added to the top or the bottom, but I think for like Urborg and effects similar to Urborg, they add it to the bottom. So I think what happened is I sacked named island and it added the mana ability above the white mana ability, or I just tapped incorrectly because I was able to choose the blue mana ability, whatever the case may be. I think that was the situation that caused the problem. And I think that the particular land art combined with Moto's interface hid the little like island thing from me. Now, someone could go back and review the footage. I'm not interested. I do not want to relive that moment. But I think that's what happened. So my apologies for getting upset. Like I said, normally that doesn't happen. Normally it doesn't happen at all, let alone especially for Magic. I'm sorry, Miximcz, if you feel like I let you down, because I really felt like I let you down. Anyway, my advice to you guys, especially if you're playing online, if you're playing Moto, if you're playing Arena, whatever it may be, if you ever have a moment like that ever spikes, you know, like takes your anger off the chart, really upsets you, get up and walk away. Just like take a breather, you know. There's nothing that says you must continue playing. If that happens to you at a tournament, if it ends up ending the round, whatever, my advice, if it was like an F&M or anything, would be like concede match, just because you do not need to express that kind of anger to your opponent, especially in person. I think it's bad because, like, you know, if I was playing against a real life opponent, I might express my frustration. Of course, that mistake wouldn't have happened, not in that form. But if something like that made me that upset about a game of Magic in paper, pretty much no matter what the stakes were, I would probably just quit, get up, and go do something else. Because I don't want to bring that kind of negativity for other people, and I don't want to upset anybody into like not playing Magic, right? That, like, me getting upset about a situation like that could stop a new player from continuing to play the game. I could be their first experience in an FNM, and that could make them not want to come back and play. And that would be awful, because Magic, despite its flaws, is a wonderful game, and is a fantastic game, and has a really awesome community to get into for the most part. And I would never want to be the reason why somebody doesn't get into it. So my advice, if you ever feel in that way, just take a deep breath, get up, go do something else. All right, so we are going to have to try and dig for not Reforge the Soul. Oh my gosh, Face Reward. That's the card I'm looking for in my mind. So we are going to need double blue because we are going to need to reshape. Come on. Come on. Okay. We need Lotus Bloom. Unfortunately, we did not draw Faith's Reward, and we've used all of our eggs. So, Storm Count is 1. I could Grapeshot and Grapeshot to kill both of their guys. There's a really good chance we would be dead next turn, because this is 7 damage. They have a Lightning Bolt they could get back out of the grave with Demi-Lich. So I think, unfortunately, that's the world I live in right now. That's not to say they can't just immediately get these creatures back. Suspend Lotus Bloom. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Manamorphose. So, I mean, with 6 cards in hand, yeah, they're probably going to get back Arclight Phoenix and Demi-Lich. The good news is, I think this, out of all of the decks in the current metagame, I think this is the deck I probably stand the best chance of beating. Simply because they don't really play counter spells. The thing we have to look out for from them is Surgical Extraction, which does mean we need to either be playing our own Surgicals, or we need to silence our opponent as we combo off, which I think is completely reasonable and fine for us to do. And of course, the slower the hand that our opponent keeps, the better chance we actually win. And now I'm really hoping the power doesn't go out, because it's just started lightning. I took like a 5-minute walk outside with Porter, and it started raining on us. And it was very cold and extremely windy. So we just have to hope that the power stays on for a few more minutes while I finish up this league. Okay. Not what I was hoping for. I don't really have a way out of this. So we're going to go to the next game. We didn't draw lands quick enough, and then we drew only lands when we tried to combo, basically. So, I mean, like, that hand was, like, somewhat questionable, and I was rambling when I was, when I kept it, but I don't think we adjust. I think we just run it back. Whoa. All right, I would like to play first. Reveal Kaheera. That's another 1-lander. I wish this Grapeshot was a land. If this Grapeshot was a land, that would be like the ideal hand. I'm going to go to 6. Okay, this is really close to being the ideal. So I am going to keep this. I'm going to put back Conjurer's Bauble, because I just need 2 land. The other nice thing about the 2-mana eggs that draw a card when they enter the battlefield is that we don't have to worry about them like getting surgical or anything, because we don't have to sack them to draw cards, right? That is a way that if you have a bunch of surgical extractions and extirpates and stuff in your deck, that you can beat an eggs player. If you just happen to surgical like every egg of any value, then they can't storm off. But I have beaten an eggs player that way before, well, in paper, by casting extirpate on Chromatic Star when they just, like, as they sacked all of them to, like, try and get enough mana when they were going to use their buyback spell, just surgical all of them. It's pretty brutal. So we're going to play Golden Egg. Opponent Thought Scours themselves. So, yep, they brought in Surgical. We draw another Golden Egg. So we have time. As long as our opponent doesn't have, like, a crazy amount of Phoenixes really quickly, which it's on the higher end of variance for him. It's not incredibly likely, but it's also not impossible. We just need to draw a silence, really. A silence and mana, of course. I'd really, really like a Ghost Quarter. I think that would be fantastic. A Zuran Orb would be like the next best thing, I think. Okay, Bring to Light is neither of those things, but it is a way to win. We're getting close because we're getting really, really close to like the critical mass of eggs necessary to win. Okay, opponent ditches Arclight off of Faithless Salvaging and a second Arclight. Can't say I'm thrilled about that. Maybe I should have brought in Surgical. I don't really like the idea of proactively attacking our opponent's graveyard, but maybe that's what I should have done. The last time I played against this deck, I didn't have Surgical in the sideboard for this deck. Actually, that's a lie. I played against this deck several times, and I added it because of this deck. I guess I'm still a little frazzled. I really felt like I wasn't, but... Okay. So opponent will be getting back the Phoenixes, and yeah, the Storm counts 4, so they will be able to get back a Demi-Lich. Okay. Opponent hits us for 6, we go to 14. We draw an island. So, opponent dumped a Surgical. What are the odds they're holding another? If they're not, we can combo, but we'd be comboing without a Ghost Quarter, so I would need to hopefully get a Zuran Orb soon. Alright, I think we just gotta go for it. There's a really good chance that my opponent has a Bolt, so they could just Bolt us, flash it back with Demi-Lich, and then we would be done. So if they have a Surgical, we're also done. Oh, they have Flusterstorm. I don't have the mana to pay for it. Well, we drew a Ghost Quarter. Pass the turn. Unfortunately, it's a little bit late. If I top deck another Reshape, and we're not dead this turn, maybe it's enough. But when it goes to combat, they hit us for 10. They're going to surgically extract Chromatic Star or Reshape. Well, we're not holding any Reshapes, so I don't think we can win now. Because I think we needed to get a Lotus Bloom on board in order to win from this position. If I get a Zuran Orb, if I top deck exactly Zuran Orb, that might be enough. If my opponent doesn't have another Flusterstorm, of course. Okay, we go to 4. Oh, am I just dead? Yep. Okay. Alrighty. Well, that's just the way it is. Yeah, we weren't drawing what we needed. No, that is unfortunate. Let's see if we can't get half our entry back. I'll see you guys in round 5. Alrighty, round 5. We have all the Faith's rewards in the world, but no eggs. You know what? I'm going to keep this. We are on the draw. It's a Ragavan deck, alright. We draw a Chromatic Sphere. Let's go ahead and lead on that, pass the turn. Opponent hits us with a Ragavan, exiles a Faith's Reward. That's actually kind of bad. Could you imagine if you ended up, like, if this said on it, if you don't cast it this turn, put it in its owner's graveyard, how much extra synergy that would have with friggin' Tarmogoyf? Alright, opponent plays Grist, mill some lands. We untap. Draw another Chromatic Sphere, so play Prismatic Vista, crack it, get a Plains, play Golden Egg, draw a card. We get a Silence, pass the turn. Opponent makes an Insect, hits us for 3. They get an Elsewhere Flask. Opponent Inquisitions, so they can take Chromatic Sphere, they can take Silence, so probably take the Sphere. Yep, okay. And they play an Ignoble Hierarch. So it cracks a Wooded Foothills for a Stomping Ground. Then plays a Goblin Bombardment. So our lifespan just got very short. We get a Conjurer's Bauble. Play Prismatic Vista. Play out Bauble. Pass the turn. Well, the other reason that I like Ghost Quarter over Prismatic Vista is the fact that it doesn't cost you life. I'm not sure maxing out on 4 Prismatic Vista is the way to go, but I'm also still not the eggs expert here. I would defer to Miximcz. So if you wanna talk to the eggs players in the Discord, links in the description below. Opponent gets 2 insect tokens because they just upticked into Grist. Okay. They have 6 damage just sitting around on board. We untap. We draw Grapeshot. And I have to combo off this turn. So, how do we do this? Prismatic Vista first. I think we get a forest here. Oh, actually, I guess it doesn't matter because I have 2 color filters here, but... Okay, we did get the 4th mana. That is important. We do not have Ghost Quarter, though, unfortunately. Well, we have Prismatic Vista, so we have 2 more life to play with. So, Conjurer's Bauble, draw a card. Oh, thank goodness, it's a Ghost Quarter. Okay, life just got a lot better. So, play Ghost Quarter. Sack for blue. Not sure it matters. Float mana, float mana. Ghost Quarter, the island. Get a face reward. What is this? What do you have? No! Oh, no! Oh, how do we beat that? We don't beat that. Oh, man. And I forgot free grave hates in this format. And no longer just like free grave hate artifact or free grave hate in black, but free grave hate on a really competitive body. I think it's target player's graveyard, right? Yeah, okay. So we've got to bring in Leyline of Sanctity, and we have to bring in an Over Silence, but I'm not sure that that actually does much. I'm going to cut 2 Prismatic Vista for 2 Urza Saga, and I guess we try running it back like this. This is not going to be an easy deck for us to beat. I'm afraid. I was hoping with us being 1 and 3 going into round 5, we'd get an easier matchup. But all right, reveal Kaheera. I mean, it's a double Leyline hand, and we're holding triple Grapeshot. All right, yep. I'm not confident that we would win basically any setup here, but like, how often do you get to meme with triple Grapeshot, right? Good luck thought seizing me, opponent. I'm behind 2 Leylines. Maelstrom Pulse. Oh no, my Leylines! Oh, jeez. So opponent leads on Copperline Gorge. It's a Ragavan. We untap. We draw Saga. So crack Vista. Get our Mountain, which is not our preferred starting land. Play Saga. Grapeshot. The old Doomblade Ragavan trick. I really hope that they were keeping a hand that was just absolutely relying on Ragavan. The number of times I have seen opponents do that is staggering. Okay, they weren't, but that, like, opponents that keep a single Ragavan and, like, single land hand is just absolutely absurd to me. Okay, Young Wolf is really good with Goblin Bombardment. We get a Reshape. Play Ghost Quarter. Pass the turn. Oh, I should have brought in Pithing Needle for Goblin Bombardment. That would have been smart. Kano's not smart. Okay, so opponent's going to attack us for 2. That's fine. They play a Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. And they ditch Mountain and Bloodstain. They play a Black Cleave Cliffs. Make a token. Untap. Make a token. Draw Faith's Reward. Okay. With Faith's Reward, we're going to need some eggs. I'd like to get Zuran Orb here, but I think because we're holding Reshape and we just don't have enough artifacts, I've got to get like a Chromatic Star. Strangely enough, we're not actually that far away from comboing. And I'm going to try and lower my opponent's life total because I'm holding 2 Grapeshots. So like even if we get like a small Storm off, maybe we can still win. It is possible. Opponent attacks us for 3. Take 3. We get a 14. They play a Blood Crypt tapped. We untap. We draw a Zuran Orb. Okay. Do we attack? I think I'm going to hold Zuran Orb for a turn. But I'm going to... I am going to attack. If we lose our constructs to like a Kolagon's Command block with Young Wolf or something like that, that really sucks. Collected Company. Okay, that is a problem. If they hit anything really, like if it's not double Hierarch or something like that, we're actually in huge trouble. I did not expect Collected Company out of my opponent. I've seen my opponent's deck before, and I've not seen them play Collected Company. I'm not very familiar with the list. Mayhem Devil and Bloodghast. Okay, so they can get a trade here if they want. I don't think they would trade Mayhem Devil, though. Wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, so we definitely need Leyline, because otherwise we would just kill ourselves with our own eggs if our opponent played a Mayhem Devil. Hey, Miximcz, there's an idea. Why don't we play Mayhem Devil eggs? Like, call it Deviled Eggs. Is that a thing we could do? Like, unearth Mayhem Devils out of the grave and sack a million Chromatic Stars and play Mardu? Or, I guess Reshape for Lotus Bloom's probably too good not to do. Although, is there a cheap artifact sack outlet or like just a Tog? There's Grinding Station. That's a different deck, I think. That's not eggs, unfortunately. I think if to play eggs, it's more likely that you do something like, what do you call it? Bolus's Citadel. So I need to draw an island here. I guess I don't need to draw an island. I can Ghost Quarter for an island, but opponent plays an Endurance. They either have a second oh no, they can't target with Endurance. Haha, gotcha. And a Seasoned Pyromancer, which lets them draw a couple of cards. We untap. Well, drawing Lotus Bloom is not what I was hoping for. So I have to draw a land off of the Chromatic Star activation. Yeah, I have to draw a land off the Chromatic Star activation. And we do attack here. Oh, I should have played Zuran Orb, actually. That was my mistake. I should have led on playing Zuran Orb. It didn't matter because they were going to block each one. Oh, that kills them both. Alright, big punt. That's a Kano punt right there. Okay, how do we do this? We can still do this. It's just going to be real tricky, right? Yeah, we still need to draw land here. Oh, this isn't a May. They have to shoot something they own. There's an idea. Maybe we can sack enough stuff we can force them to... That would be silly. Wipe their own board with a Mayhem Devil. Would be hilarious. We did not get the land, unfortunately. So I can Reshape for Lotus Bloom, but then I'm 1 mana short to play Faith's Reward. Okay, there's actually one thing I can do here. So I could get real greedy and I could play Elsewhere Flask. I can ping 3 things, which means I could kill Mayhem Devil, Endurance, and Young Pyro. Or Young Wolf, I mean. And that leaves us possibly dead. Or I can try and draw a land first. I think I have to try and draw a land here. Okay, that is not a land. Well, Miximcz, I tried. I'm so sorry, man. I tried. And I had fun. This is not a deck archetype I really want to play a lot. And it's not an archetype that I can... I just don't have the brain power to do it. I don't have the kind of mind that thinks down the lines for eggs. I can help you come up with new tech, but I don't think I can actually play this deck at its best. Honestly, I'm thinking the way to go with this deck is probably a Bolus's Citadel deck. Simply because of the tech that Zuran Orb provides. Like, Zuran Orb in eggs is amazing. Because it guarantees your Faith's Reward refreshes your mana, which was the biggest problem with, I feel like, the previous version of eggs. And by the previous version of eggs, I mean the version of eggs that you had me play last time, which was very similar to this. I think playing multiple Grapeshots is the way to go. I don't know if 2 or 3 or 4 is the best, but my gut instinct says really probably no less than 3. And then you're kind of playing more of a Storm combo, but like it's also, I don't know, not 100% on that. Prismatic Vista, I really feel like Prismatic Vista ought to be like a one-of. I understand it's redundant Ghost Quarter tech, but Ghost Quarter is by far superior for numerous reasons. It can tap for mana by itself. It doesn't cost you life. You know, it can start like the destroy, reanimate loop by itself. You know, I'm wondering. No, that wouldn't work. I was gonna say there's the panorama lands, but those cost mana to activate. I was gonna say those are a lot like fetch lands, but without the life investment. So I really, really wish I had recorded the last test match that I did prior to this league, because we did beat Arclight Phoenix
doing that, and like I was casting Bring to Light to go get. I cast Grapeshot, Conjurer's Baubled it back in the deck, and then Bring to Light for Grapeshot to kill my opponent. Both games, and it was really sick. And I feel really bad that I wasn't able to highlight that in this league. And I feel really bad about getting upset, because I really feel like I let you down. But I think Zuran Orb's the way to go. I think Grapeshot's fantastic. Bring to Light is good, and with the exception of playing against Leon and Arbiter or Ashiok or Shadow of Doubt, which are not cards I expected to see this league, but you know, we ran into Death and Taxes. I think it's really where you want to be with this. If Bring to Light could get you artifacts too, it would be the perfect card in this deck, because it is like Storm Count of 2, but I don't know. This deck struggles on mana a lot more than previous versions of Eggs did, and I'm not really sure what to do about it. So like you had Krark Clan Ironworks, which basically made the deck too good. And then when they printed Scrap Trawler, it made the deck insane. But without some kind of mana engine, it's a lot more difficult. Now, we could play more planes, because with this version of the deck, we're not running as many blue cards. So like maybe you could play Flagstones of Trocaire if you're Ghost Quartering it, but you don't really have enough land slots in the deck to make that work. Maybe like Vessel of Volatility, just being a repeatable Pyretic Ritual, but like generally once you start comboing, mana's not an issue. It's just getting from 0 to combo. And there's no cost reducer that's cheap enough, even though there's a 2 mana artifact cost reducer that's blue, the Ethereum Sculptor. The actual combo portion of this deck is fantastic. Because like getting a 5 mana, casting Silence, and then a single Faith's Reward with like 3 or 4 eggs on board is generally enough, right? And we got really close several times, but we're struggling to consistently get to the combo turn in the current metagame. Maybe, actually, I'm wondering, isn't there Deadly Dispute? As an additional cost to sack or to cast the spell, sack an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards and make a treasure token. Like if we sack a Zuran Orb with this and get a treasure token, is that good? No, because the treasure token, we can't recycle the treasure token because it's a token. There's got to be a way, because it's right on the cusp. And I mean, like we could try and ramp into Bolas's Citadel. We could try and reshape into Bolas's Citadel, or Whir of Invention, or Trash for Treasure. Maybe there's like a Jeskai Trash for Treasure Bolas's Citadel eggs. That could be fun. It's close, and I'm really sorry that it didn't work out as because like. In my testing, the deck was better than I showed it off as. And we beat 8-Rack. You know what? I'm going to take the moral high ground and say we beat 8-Rack with eggs. Even if we had to go to Urza's Saga to do it. So, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. And if you didn't like this video, please leave a dislike, let me know. Hopefully the information I provided in this video is helpful to you guys. If you want to hang out, talk eggs with Miximcz, talk eggs with Silver. Link to the Discord is in the description below. Those guys are pretty good resources for it. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time. You're all wonderful human beings. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Miximcz, thanks for the list. Hey, just wanted to give a shout out to my patrons for the month of September. You guys have been a huge help, greatly supporting the channel and allowing me to acquire new cards. And if you want to have your name in this list and get a shout out at the end of the video, there's a link to the Patreon in the description down below. Thank you.